Hello everyone, this is RaySpace and welcome to Designing the Future. I have been working on a science fiction future history. Future history is a timeline of future events. Of course, they will not actually happen the way I write them, but the point of it is to create the backbone for stories or for things I do in Kerbal Space Program, basically the background lore that will inform things. And so I've been working on that, and it's a biggish project, and it's going to have many elements to it, including these little guys. And so this series is going to be more about that background development rather than activities directly in Kerbal Space Program, which is what my channel has been dominated with. But there's sort of a bigger project, so I'm going to have to take some time with these sorts of things, creative things, instead of actually conducting missions in Kerbal Space Program or testing in Kerbal Space Program. And I would like to talk about some of the creative developments so that people can give their input and before I actually implement these things in Kerbal Space Program or use them in stories as I might. And these things will be things that you too can use in stories. The background lore is meant to be like background lore in Dungeons and Dragons. It would be for role-playing games as well, hopefully. And so this is a lore book that other people can use. But the stories that come out of it are the copyrighted part, if you will. So yeah, this part is to be shared, including these parts that you see here. These elements, these are base modules. These are meant to be ideas for solar system architecture. Basically, I'm thinking about what the buildings are going to look like, and so these will be imported into Kerbal Space Program for use with Kerbal constructs or with however you want to deploy bases, and so we can place them like that. And also, I might reference them in stories, or we could have them as images. I mean, we could have them on landscapes and then have them as images in a role-playing game book. So, a lot of things can happen with these things. Let me explain the logic of them, and then maybe you can contribute some ideas of your own so that we can add those as well. The idea is that we're going to have many different factions involved, including SpaceX. You recognize, hopefully, Starship and some Starship-derived buildings based on them chopping up starships when they arrive on Mars. That's the idea here. I've also extended the idea to maybe Elon will be stuck on Cybertruck, and so we have sort of a Cybertruck themed hab for SpaceX, and something very similar to that with angular shapes, assuming that he's still into low poly sort of deal. So there are habs like that. But there are also different factions. For instance, here we have Blue Origin. You might recognize the sort of lander can that we have on the Blue Moon Mark II lander, now with a regular door and windows like that. And then we have the enlarged version of the New Shepard capsule that they have. This is much larger. It is 6 meters in diameter. It's meant to be a full habitat on the surface of another planet. So these two are the Blue Origin ones right now. I've made these as European Space Agency ones, ESA, and the main interesting feature, first of all, different texture with the insulated stuff, but also these arched windows because, well, I'm thinking of European architecture where they have these arch. Of course, that's spread all over the place anyway, but and other cultures use it too, but I thought it would be interesting to have that sort of arched window on them. It's not as spacey as other things. I'll have to reconsider the side windows though. Anyway, so those are European Space Agency one. Now, my timeline actually focuses on none of those. These are the competitors, basically, to the main characters in my own stories with the TPAA timeline. And so now we have a TPAA hab, and the TPAA hab has a special feature, and that is that it is a regolith hab. See, it has an animation. You can launch it like this. I've done this sort of thing before, but not quite as well. You can launch it like this, and then the soil you can deploy via an animation. It will have colliders on it. They're all convex pieces I cut out. All the pieces all fit inside the habitat, and then yeah, the Kerbals would still be able to go inside as long as I create an IVA for it. But that is a simple regolith habitat, an underground habitat to protect from radiation. These others would use other methods, or maybe the SpaceX ones. They haven't really talked about radiation, but I think they plan to have underground habitats and all. It's tough to make a large underground habitat unless it's just going to be there without launching. That's one thing. So I'll probably have that version as well, where we have a large underground thing, but that would have to be just Kerbal. No, I don't know, even know if it's possible to have a Kerbal constructs thing like that, because the Kerbals can't interact with it. This is complicated as far as implementing it in the game. And part of the reason these things look the way they do is so that they will work in Kerbal Space Program as well. They need to be as flexible as possible. So there are numerous features of all this that make this efficient. And one thing is that the textures are shared. The second thing is that they're fairly low polyed. And in fact, all of these parts together are just 96,000 vertices. So that's very good for a game. So sharing textures and having that amount means that it's very efficient. And I'll probably be using these stairs for many things, so I need to put additional hand railings around the flat portions. You'll note the little doors. There are all sorts of ideas that I put into this. First of all, angular windows and doors on Starship. These are based on the sort of Cybertruck angular motif, sharp angles, whereas the Blue Origin ones are more airliner shaped windows and doors, so curved like that. We have ISS hatch versions, and I already talked about the windows for ESA. Got the round windows here, looking like eyes. I somewhat deliberately. This is sort of like pig. I mean, it's sort of a piggy sort of thing. Look, this is definitely an enthusiastic face. This is sort of more intelligent face, a very big forehead, but sort of with a snout too. Anyway, and this is a very cute face, I feel. I feel like this is sort of like a penguin or a bird of some kind. These are definitely. This one has the windows spaced out a little bit further away. These are the basic models, and then as we get further along in time, the architecture will develop further based on beyond these sort of starting points. And then there's a whole area of space architecture that we can explore. None of it will happen exactly this way, or maybe like this at all, but it's fun to speculate. And that's one of the things that the timeline will have built into it. I'll write a document with all this stuff in it, and that's my goal. There's going to be a book, a lore book. And the lore book will have all sorts of things, including architecture and spaceship designs and food and, you know, strange beliefs and stuff like that, and characters. They'll have some of the basic characters, the more famous characters that will occur, you know, the ones that get statues made out of them, and we'll tell you where the statues are. All this is stuff that I have planned and hope to do. But perhaps you have some ideas about habitats. I do want to take in the ISS habs like Destiny and those and adapt them to be ground modules. I already have those made, so I might as well. But then there's further developments. I sort of envision these angular things from SpaceX to be sort of an Art Deco thing. And eventually we're going to get fancier architecture from the Europeans because, well, that's what they're famous for. Gothic architecture on the moon or Mars would be fancy. You'll go, well, it's not efficient. Yeah, but when was it efficient exactly? So yeah, we will have some interesting things, but these are the basic stuff, and perhaps everybody else has some other ideas. So that's why I'm offering them up as an explanation. I'll be bringing them into the game, and we'll see them in the game soon and see how that all works out. But stuff like this can't be launched easily with the stairs on the side, so those will just be Kerbal Constructs things. But something like that could be a part as well that gets launched. Same with that. So they'll vary in their purpose. I don't know if you want to launch a Cybertruck shaped tab, but at least it'll fit. I mean, at 6 by 18 by 4, it's workable. The interiors are a whole other business. So anyway, that's what I'm working on. That's what this series is about. This series is about what I have been working on in terms of space future history today. And releasing videos like this will give me some amount of time to work on it and also some feedback. So always necessary. So with that, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. And I'll see you next time.